What's up, movie crew? So, if you saw the title, you see the thumbnail, then you already know what I'm about to talk about. So, right before I went to go see Wakanda Forever on Friday, I got the notification from a friend of mine that Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, has passed away. And normally with celebrity deaths, we'll all post like an RIP to whomever it is that passed away. But for me, this one hurt. After I got out of seeing Wakanda Forever, between both the emotionally charged movie that was, on top of finding out that the Batman I grew up with has passed away, after I finished recording the review for Wakanda Forever, I probably sat in my car for about 10 minutes and cried. I'm sure someone's going to say, well, you didn't know him personally, or should you really be this upset about a celebrity death? And I can't speak for everyone, but for me, Kevin Conroy's death is a lot more than just the person who voiced Batman in the cartoon that came on when I was a kid. There's a lot of more to it than that for me. So if you've seen some of my other videos and you already know I like my DC stuff, I'm a huge Batman fan. Batman is hands down my favorite superhero. And it's more than just, oh, I like this hero. He's awesome. He's badass. He's this. He's that. No, it's a lot deeper than that for me. Like, there's a lot of emotional and sentimental stakes here for me. So I want to say I was 5 when Batman the series premiered. I could be wrong on that. I'm just going off what I remember from when I was younger, and that being as long ago as it was, it's a little difficult to keep up with everything. But that was before I started learning to read. So I'm watching episodes of Batman the Animated Series, and there's this one place that used to be near where I live at that would sell used comics for however cheap they were back then. And it had the same artwork as the animated series. I think I may have mentioned this in videos before, but comics are one of the things that helped me learn to read. And I wanted to read these comics because it was Batman. It was the same character that I'd been watching for however long it was at this point. So it wasn't just, oh, it's the voice of the superhero I've seen on TV. No. I love the cartoon enough that when I first saw I believe it was The Adventures of Batman, that they called that one back in the day. Like, now it's got a different title. I wanted to learn to read because of that. And for those that don't know, outside of this, I'm a writer. If my reading skills were trash, I would not be a writer. Long story short. So there's a domino effect there. It's not just one particular thing. And even with the voice of Batman, eventually I'd start learning about some of the other heroes in DC, and Batman the Animated Series eventually became Adventures of Batman and Robin, and then we got Batman Beyond, and then Justice League, and Justice League Unlimited. And if I wasn't the Batman fan that I was, who's to say I would have watched Justice League and Justice League Unlimited? And because I enjoyed seeing the other characters, that's what eventually led to me watching Arrow when it was on the CW. And there's a lot of personal friends that I've made over the years just from like tweeting something about the Arrowverse. And again, like I said, there's that effect. I was watching Arrow and Flash because I liked seeing Green Arrow and the Flash on Justice League Unlimited and Justice League, which I watched because of Batman. And not only that, but when Blu-rays, when we were going through the HD format war, and Blu-ray eventually won, when I started building what became my collection, there were two types of movies that I wanted to make sure I owned. Horror movies and comic book movies. Because around this time, this was also when The Dark Knight was in theaters. But I wouldn't have wanted to pick some of that stuff up. Again, all of it still leads back to my love of Batman. But not only that, when Blu-ray became a format and initially people were actually buying Blu-rays, I remember the Superman Batman Public Enemies animated movie where they brought back Kevin Conroy, Tim Daly, and Clancy Brown. And one of the special features was Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, Andrea Romano, Kevin Conroy, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some people. And it was them having like a dinner scene, and they were just kind of doing a retrospect on everything. And I remember Kevin Conroy mentioning how he initially wanted to voice Harvey Bullock. And Andrea Romano and Bruce Timm were like, no, we want you to voice Batman. Because he said that he didn't know much about Batman at the time. He wasn't really much into comics. The only thing he really saw was the Adam West show. And he said, well, had I known that you were planning to keep me employed for 2 decades, I wouldn't have argued with you back then. And that was one of the things that really made me enjoy his portrayal of Batman that much more. It was the fact that he was grateful for the fact that all of us wanted him to continue voicing Batman. Even in the special feature that I was talking about, it's on the Superman Batman Public Enemies Blu-ray. There was one part where one of the other people were like, yeah, when we made the announcement that you and Tim Daly were coming back, you know, of course it was met with cheers, but it was also met with, well, it's about damn time you brought back the right people. And I've got to say, I've enjoyed some of the other portrayals we've gotten of both Superman and Batman. But I would be lying if I wasn't one of the people that said, well, it's about time that you brought back the people we want to see. But the fact that he was also thankful for the fact that we all wanted to see him as hear him as Batman. And even seeing like some of the panels on YouTube for when he does conventions. One of the first ones I remember seeing like the whole panel on YouTube. I forget who the moderator was, but Kevin Conroy stopped him before they started, said, I want to start off, can I say something to everyone first before we start? And the person said, yeah. And that is when he went into the thing that we know him for. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman. To which the crowd just went crazy. And it was amazing just seeing, ever since then, seeing him start off pretty much every panel with that iconic line from an episode of Batman the Animated Series. And hearing him tell stories about recording certain episodes, or how it ended up with him and Mark Hamill, the voice of Joker, having this close-knit friendship. I don't remember where I read it at, but I read that part of his obituary was actually written by Mark Hamill. sorry, I'm going to start getting choked up in a minute. But Kevin Conroy's passing isn't just the end of an era. This is the person that got me into like the superhero animated stuff, because while we get all these live action movies today, when I was a kid, most of these characters we're seeing now on the big screen, we saw in animated form throughout the 90s. Like, on DC's side, we had Batman, we had Superman, we had Justice League Unlimited. We ended up with Teen Titans and Static Shock at some point. On Marvel's side, we had Spider-Man, X-Men, The Incredible Hulk, Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Avengers. Like, all of these we saw growing up. So it wasn't just seeing my childhood to now. It was also the person that got me into reading comics. The person that, like, Batman the Animated Series is what made me a comic book person. The love I have of comic book movies was what made me start building up a Blu-ray collection. Like, had it not been for Batman the Animated Series, there's even a chance that the channel that, like this channel right here, Let's Watch a Movie, I don't know what it would be. It might not even have been a movie channel if it weren't for that. So there's even a part of me, like a lot of you that I've now become friends with since starting this channel, is because of Batman the Animated Series. So finding out that the voice of Batman passed away is a lot more than just someone who voiced a character I'm a fan of. There's a ripple effect to so many different aspects of who I am, of my life, that would have probably been different had it not been for Batman. So to everyone that has shared tributes and posted stuff on social media, thank you so much, because it was nice knowing that other people were feeling the same way I was and still am about Kevin Conroy's death. And to Kevin Conroy, thank you so much for making one of my favorite characters mean so much. And knowing the love that you actually had for voicing the character means so much to me personally. I wish I could have actually gotten to meet you personally, because everything that I've read from those that have met you have mentioned how kind of a person you were, how positive you always were to people. And even when people wanted you to do something that was kind of a comedic thing with the Batman voice, you were always open to doing that as well. And hearing that you were as thankful for voicing Batman as we were for having you as our Batman means so much to me personally. So, thank you, Kevin Conroy, for everything. There's so many parts of my life that would probably be a lot different had I not watched Batman the Animated Series as a kid. So, that is going to do it for this one. I do want to let everyone know now the next few videos are going to be Batman-centric and DC-centric, because this has pretty much been one of the only things I've been thinking about lately. The next video will likely be a ranking video of the animated movies he's done, and then I'll probably do something on the DCAU. But that is going to do it for this one. Thank you all for watching, and tune in next time.